It was like 30 seconds.
Sports and stuff. Coming to you live from the 410. As seen on the video, Bourbon Glass matches the shirt. In orange.
Always does, brother.
Always. Orange and green. Sports and stuff. See us on our logo, top right corner. Got it in the background. Got Ryan and Will talking about Saturday morning / early afternoon NCAA March Madness. Not at all March Madness. Why did I just say that? It's all good.
Don't worry, brother.
It's always March Madness in my heart. Anyway. All right. Will, what are we feeling? Early games tomorrow or today, depending on when this comes out.
Early games. I have one going against the 410, going against Towson. Charleston, if you can still grab a -1.5, I think probably going to be up to -2.5 when the video comes out. But yeah, against the 410, and then I know I agree with you guys on basically everything else. So I think I'm pretty much going to stop there. But I'll just introduce that we all are also big believers in Duke this week. Money line +1.5, +2.5. However you can get them, you should go get them.
You're not going to ever probably hear that sentence come out of a Marylander's mouth ever again. No. But you have to back Duke in this spot.
It's just sad that they don't play anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
our rivalry used to be really fun. I don't really think like Maryland has a rival in the Big Ten like that.
They still don't belong in the Big Ten. None of the Big Ten schools think that them and Rutgers even belong in the Big Ten. Maryland and Rutgers.
No, Maryland should be in the ACC.
Yeah.
It feels right.
Ryan? Money line? Are you going money line too? Am I going to convince you to do money line like Will? Or are we just going to take the +2.5?
Well, I guess this is Duke at Wake Forest, so I know with Duke being the underdog, I kind of want to take the money line, but I'm probably going to place a bigger bet on the +1.5 if you can still get it. I guess if it goes up to +2.5, I might. Do you think it's going up? Because if it's going up, I'm probably going to jump on the +2.5. But another play I like in this game is probably under 152.5, if that's still the total.
I saw it going up at some books, so I'm going to wait until closer to game time to see if that number possibly creeps up to +3. But probably not. But I'd be patient if I were you, because people really like Wake Forest at home here. So that's why that number is going to keep going up for Duke.
I know Duke and Wake Forest have definitely had some high-scoring games before, but I know the last two meetings didn't even go over 150. So, I'm definitely liking the underplay in this game. So right now they got it at 152.5. It may rise. Definitely got to see what happens overnight here.
Yeah, we all agree on Duke. I might hedge my bets, Will, and do both. I might take the against the spread and do a money line.
Yeah, Ryan had a good point. You had a good point. Like, if it gets up to 3, like, why not? See what it gets up to.
Yeah. Also, the over-under. Ryan might have convinced me there. I didn't realize that the history of these teams' defensive struggles.
Plus, Duke does play at a slower pace, and I believe Wake Forest, they do have some really high-scoring games, and then they have some not-so-high-scoring games. It definitely depends who they play defensively. But I would definitely say that Duke's going to probably try to control the tempo more, so they're probably going to try to play at a little slower pace to try to control the game when they get that little outburst to try to get up on them.
Yeah, especially when I took Miami, I thought Miami was going to keep the game close, and then Duke just blew the doors off them. So I don't really see much of a change. Miami has a little bit more of a fast pace play to them, which why I thought Miami was going to beat or at least keep the game close with Duke because Duke doesn't like to play fast. But Wake Forest kind of plays to whatever the other team's speed is. So they adapt, which is why the spread, which is A, their favorites, but B, the spread's pretty close. But Duke has the pedigree and Duke has the Ryan, I think you mentioned it to me before we recorded what Duke's 8-2 in their last 10 against Wake Forest or something like that.
Yeah, they're 8-2, and that's just straight up. I didn't go back to look at whatever the spreads were for all them games, but
But yeah, to Will's point though, because the spread's so close, I I think it's free money taking them as underdogs and then also even getting them on a money line, a little more payout. So I'm probably gonna hedge my bets and just do take both there. So my game, I really like a lot. BYU just came off a massive victory beating Baylor by 7 points, and now they're traveling to a Big 12 rival in Kansas State. Kansas State, what are they known for? Grittiness, toughness, physicality, defense. Baylor is a lot more finesse. Baylor likes to take a lot of threes. I could see this being a letdown game for Baylor. And Kansas State right
like,
now is plus 5.5. I mean, that's great value for a home team against a rival coming in. So I would take Kansas State plus 5.5. I think that's a no-brainer to me. I don't see it going up. Honestly, I could see this coming down, this number coming down to like plus 4.5. I don't know if you guys disagree, but
I like Kansas State here.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be this is another one that could possibly be an under as well. I don't know what the number is, but given the
I
fact that Baylor lives and dies by that three, and after just coming off an emotional high, Kansas State's going to be like, "Hey, don't forget about us, and we want to beat you on our home court. So we're going to be very physical with you, try to throw you off your spot."
So,
147.5. Sorry,
oh, okay. My bad. I know we were doing that.
I didn't even know we.
Well, all the above. I mean, Kansas State, their environment's pretty wild. I
Yeah.
remember speaking of the 4-0 when UMBC went on their run, upset Virginia, and then they played close Kansas State, but Kansas State, I think I think it was like 120 points or less total. Kansas State really shut UMBC down after UMBC put up 74 on UVA. I think they held them to like 53 points.
Wow.
So like those teams are always physically dominant and their defense is always suffocating. They remind me of like a poor man's version of Houston. Because Houston, obviously, being an elite team that they are, that's going to be a fun game. Houston,
The
yeah,
new game.
Houston Baylor, right?
Yeah, Houston
Yeah.
Baylor.
I'm staying away from that game. I can't really get a read on that one, but I think it's just gonna be a fun game to watch. And I think Baylor's gonna be kind of annoyed the
Okay.
fact that they blew it to BYU. Is it Houston at Baylor?
Mhm.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Houston
Yeah.
at Baylor. That's what's fun to watch about Houston though, because they always are double teaming people. Every time someone's on the ball, double team, force turnovers, and that makes up for a lot of their offensive inefficiencies. And that's why they're ranked as high as they are, and probably are always going to be with that head coach. So, any concluding thoughts
I
or
guess
any teasers for next episode?
I got one more game real quick we could give out for
Sure.
Saturday tomorrow. Cincinnati playing at TCU. I think when I looked, the line was -5.5. I think I saw it went down to -5. You might be able to get that somewhere, but I mean, I kind of like the -5.5. TCU at home. Last time these two teams played, Cincinnati had actually won that game. TCU had lost by 4, but they were playing in Cincinnati. So this is definitely a pretty good revenge spot for TCU at home. TCU's definitely been playing pretty dominant lately, so I'm probably going to roll with them at -5.5.
Yeah, I mean that's for how dominant they have been. I think 5.5 is actually a pretty good number. Because I was gonna say if it was over 7, I'd probably stay away from that.
I mean, if they
Even
were on the
you
road,
can
I'd
lean
be
6.5.
away from it. But just TCU at home it just seems like a great spot because I've been on Cincinnati a few times and they let me down. So I'm on the other side now.
Yeah, I would say lean 6.5, but play it at 5.5. So, all right. So stay tuned. We're gonna be launching this episode. It'll be out tonight, February 23rd, and tomorrow, February 24th. We're going to put out a preview of the late games for Saturday. So stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe to us on all the platforms. Follow us on all the podcasting
Please,
platforms.
please.
We have a Patreon. If you want to donate to help support the channel to help us grow here, we're
Please.
back and better than ever on season 3. Peace.